Saitama's true strength gets revealed and might make him the face of the Hero Association. But that's not even the biggest thing that happens in the latest chapter of One Punch Man, chapter 190. On top of that, this years old ridiculous fan theory might have actually just confirmed Saitama's only weakness. And if that's not crazy enough, a top 5 S-Class hero leaves the Hero Association to join the Neo Heroes. And to go along with all of this, we actually get a pretty crazy Amai mask reveal towards the end of this chapter as well. This chapter is packed full of really interesting content from beginning to end, so let's just jump right into it. We start with Child Emperor in the middle of nowhere building this high-tech dome lab. He seems pretty flustered as he's complaining about heroes like Metal Knight being strong but unreliable, and is also pissed that the Hero Association executives won't listen to any of the input that he has to make the association better. We've seen these last few chapters that Child Emperor is slowly uncovering the shady things that the Hero Association has been doing behind the scenes, like selling monsters as exotic pets and even holding gambling events where rich people bet on heroes fighting against other monsters, just like we saw a few chapters back. So at this point, Child Emperor is just completely fed up with all of their crap, and it's gonna boil over in a big way later on in this chapter. But first, he gets interrupted by a text from Zombie Man inviting him to go get milkshakes, which of course is a callback to when Zombie Man promised him that he'd take him out for a milkshake once they make it out of their intense battle with the monster cadre all the way back in the Monster Association arc. Zombie Man is one of my favorite characters, and it's always nice to see this kind of sibling relationship that he's been developing with Child Emperor. It seems like he's straight up the only one that actually respects him out of anybody. Well, we cut to them having their milkshakes, and Child Emperor looks really pissed off for some reason, and it turns out that it's because he was made fun of at school for his hero name, and he storms off before they can finish their conversation. So Zombie Man sends him a text that he's sorry that he's been so stressed out lately and promises to push past his own limits to help lighten the load for him. This seems like a silly interaction at first, but I think it's just really hammering home the stress that Child Emperor has been under while uncovering all these shady things that the Hero Association is doing, along with literally never getting any respect from anyone, even though he's straight up a top 5 S-Class hero. I feel like a lot of people forget that sometimes. Well, we're gonna get to Child Emperor in a bit and the big reveal of his new identity after being made fun of, but before that, we then cut to one of the bigger surprises of this chapter, where we see freaking Mosquito Girl working at the takoyaki shop that Dr. Genus owns, confirming that she actually survived the smack that Saitama gave her in episode 2 of the anime. Now, some of you might be super confused as to how she's still alive, and honestly I was too when I first read the chapter, but some sharp fans on Reddit pointed out that if you look closely, when Saitama slaps Mosquito Girl, it's actually her blood sac that explodes and releases all of the blood that we actually see in the manga and the anime. And along with that, it's also implied that her body actually went right through the building and went flying into the air. So in fact, it wasn't her whole body that went splat all over the building. It was actually just her blood sac, which makes sense because right here, she no longer has that blood sac either, so it kind of lines up. Funny enough, this all but confirms the fan theory that the only thing that Saitama can't kill are mosquitoes, since he couldn't finish off any of the small ones in episode 2, and now we find out that he couldn't even finish off Mosquito Girl. I have a feeling that one or Murata heard of this stupid fan theory at some point and brought back Mosquito Girl to kind of make it a running gag. I don't know, just super silly stuff. I know most people don't care about any of this, but I think it's pretty funny. But you know, don't worry, you'll get some more serious and plot relevant stuff in just a second. So it turns out that Zombie Man came to the shop to pay Dr. Genus another visit. If you guys remember, the last time that they met was right before the Monster Association arc, when he first reveals the existence of the limiter and the fact that Saitama removed his own. Well, Zombie Man returns to Genus to explain that he might honestly believe his wild claim after Genos revealed everything that happened in the alternate timeline where everyone died, and Saitama pretty much went back in time to save everybody. This was of course during the briefing that Sitch assembled, where Zombie Man, Flashy Flash, Amai Mask, and Genos were all involved in talking about the existence of God and all this stuff. Now it's all coming back full circle to Zombie Man, who now believes all of it. Now knowing that Genus was for real about the limiter stuff, Zombie Man asks Genus if he can help him remove his own limiter. This is when Genus quietly says that the shop they're in has a basement holding something that he wants to show Zombie Man. For you webcomic readers, you already know what's in the basement, so you already know how hyped this moment is and what it's gonna mean for Zombie Man later on in the story. So it's awesome to finally get this scene in the manga. But getting back to the main plot here, we then cut to a briefing room where a hero executive is giving A-class hero Snack a mission to investigate a mysterious disappearance of an association sponsor. The important thing is that they suspect that this disappearance is from a monster attack, so that's why they're tasking a hero like Snek to take care of this case. It's also supposed to be top secret, so he's not supposed to tell anybody. As Snek leaves the room and starts walking down the hallway, he runs into Child Emperor, and this is when we get the reveal of Child Emperor's new look. He has his hair slicked back, he has these cool ass glasses on, officially entering his like edgy phase. Obviously this is him trying to change his persona a bit, so he can finally get some goddamn respect. But honestly, I just think this kind of backfired on him and he looks even more silly than he did before. But I don't know, what do I know? Let me know in the comments below if you dig his new look. Anyway, Child Emperor then reveals to Snek that he looked into the case that he was put on and notes that he'd just be wasting his time if he pursues it. This is because the monster that killed the association sponsor was actually captured and taken out almost a year ago, but they keep passing the case onto lower heroes to cover up the fact that the monster that caused all of this damage was actually one of the monsters that were sold off in the underground monster trade operation that he uncovered recently. It turns out that monsters are captured and sold off as pets to rich people, but some of them end up escaping and wreak havoc, so whenever this happens, they try covering it up by claiming that the deaths that they cause are still unsolved, so they try to put heroes on the case to make it seem like it's an ongoing investigation or something and not raise any questions. But after explaining this, we find out that Child Emperor was actually on his way to get picked up by a Neo Heroes jet, officially confirming that he left the Hero Association for the Neo Heroes. Now, I don't have to tell you guys that this is a massive blow to the Hero Association, since Child Emperor is a top 5 S-class hero, and it's not gonna look good for them once the public finds out that this happened. The Hero Association is down bad right now, and honestly, it only gets worse from here, because we then cut to a room of hero execs that are just catching wind of Child Emperor leaving and are completely taken off guard. They're wondering why this even happened. Well, this is when Amai Mask walks in the room, and he has this new like K-pop look where he dyed his hair black and he has his bangs hanging over his face, looking pretty sharp, but that's not important. So as these execs are wondering why Child Emperor left in the first place, Amai Mask comes in and pretty much tells them, "I'll tell you dumbasses exactly why." Apparently Child Emperor had submitted plans to improve the structure of the Hero Association by doing stuff like creating specific response teams to fight off the growing dragon level monster appearances, and from the look on the executives' faces, it looks like this is straight up the first time they're even seeing these plans, meaning they just straight up ignored them up until that point. Like, just hammering home how absolutely useless these people are, and the fact that they don't actually give a shit about anything other than making money. Amai turns on a TV to show a Neo Hero spokesperson unveiling a new member of their ranks, obviously referring to Child Emperor, but before he calls out Child Emperor's name, Child Emperor interrupts him by saying that he has a brand new name, so he spins around in his chair and reveals that he now wants to be called Unjust Emperor or Outrageous Emperor. It all depends on how it gets translated and shown in Jump or Viz, but the point is that he now has a sick new name to tie in with his new cool guy persona. Well, Amai pretty much lays out that this is a heavy blow for their image, and drastic measures need to be taken right away. So this is when Amai reveals his big master plan to pretty much find a new poster boy for the Hero Association, and he wants that poster boy to be none other than Saitama himself. He pretty much wants to make Saitama the ideal hero and the face of the Hero Association to try and repair their image, since on several occasions now, Amai Mask has witnessed Saitama's true strength firsthand. So he knows that Saitama's the real deal, but the other executives are freaking idiots, so they obviously think that Amai is out of his mind, trying to make this weird looking A-class hero into the face of the Hero Association, but whatever. So Amai Mask is like, alright, we have to put this plan into effect. You guys have been sitting on your asses pretty much doing nothing, and I've been out there meeting people, trying to gain some notoriety for us, meeting with rich folk and making all these connections. So right now is the best time to implement this plan, because right now we're looking really bad. And as he's giving this presentation, it turns out that McCoy is sitting amongst the other Hero Association executives and randomly excuses himself. This is when we get some pretty crazy information as he walks out of the room. So from what I'm getting, it seems like McCoy was anticipating all of this, and even anticipating all these meetings that Amai has been having with all these rich people and influential sponsors, and reveals that as soon as people find out Amai Mask's true identity, everything is going to start completely falling apart. If you guys are confused as to what he means by his true identity, I don't blame you, because it's been subtly alluded to as the manga has gone along. We've seen on various occasions that Amai Mask can be like stabbed in the eye and completely torn in half and still manage to be okay somehow. So it's been heavily implied that there's something going on with Amai Mask that isn't human, and apparently McCoy knows about this and knows that it's soon going to be revealed to the public. So once this happens, it's pretty much game over, and it involves webcomic stuff, so I can't really get into it here. And we find out why McCoy is so happy about this, or so giddy about it. It seems like he has also changed sides to the Neo Heroes, because he then receives a call from one of the Neo Heroes executives. And more exciting than that, we get a silhouette of several Neo Heroes members, and these guys are implied to be like their own S-Class, like the strongest people in the Neo Heroes that are on the level or even above the S-Class of the Hero Association. For those of you that are webcomic readers, you already know who these people are, so I'm sure you're very excited to finally see their manga versions. For right now though, be on the lookout for what My Mask is going to do to try to implement this new plan of trying to make Saitama the face of the Hero Association, because it leads to probably my favorite mini arc post Monster Association. Like, this is some of the best One Punch Man content that we're about to be getting here, so I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this chapter. Leave a like and make sure to subscribe, because I cover One Punch Man chapters almost immediately after they come out, so definitely have those notifications on. That is it for this one though. Have an absolutely wonderful night, morning, afternoon, whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next video.